Hello, this is Smerdley broadcasting to you, direct from Smerdleyville, USA. I just made a video, and while it's uploading, I'm making another video, okay? In the previous video, I talked about grief counselors, okay? This is a modern-day invention, grief counselors. It comes out of women's therapy groups, I imagine, the same people who invented such bullshit notions as closure. I've talked about that before in other videos, but here's how a grief counselor works. They don't want kids to grow up to be insensitive, callous bastards, okay, nowadays, and go out and do school shootings and stuff. They want them to be nice, sensitive people, you know, and have feeling and compassion for others. So what they do is they take a public death, you know, something that's in the news. For example, about 10 years ago, Princess Diana was killed in a car wreck. So what they did was they wanted to sensitize kids and teach them about death, and show them that death is a terrible thing and you're supposed to cry when somebody dies and get it out of your system and then go forward. So what they did was they sent grief counselors to schools, okay? And this lady would show up and she'd stop off at the pet store on the way and she'd buy a little rabbit, you know, and they'd say, "Oh, look at the pretty rabbit. You know, we should name this rabbit. What should we name the rabbit?" And name somebody pretty. "Oh, Princess Diana is pretty and soft and cuddly. Let's name the rabbit Princess Diana." And they'd pass the rabbit around, and all the kids would, you know, touch it and pet it and feel how soft and how pink its nose was and how cute it was. And then they said, "Today we'd like to teach you about death." So what they did was they got this little toy car, you know, just big enough to stuff the rabbit into, and they took it and they rammed it real hard and crushed the thing and rammed it and mashed the rabbit, and the rabbit was all screaming, the way a rabbit screams when it's in pain, and it was kicking all the guts flying all over the place. And then they pulled it out and threw it on the floor in front of the kids and said, "Well, Princess Diana is dead. Cry." And the kids who wouldn't cry, they'd take their faces and mush them into the rabbit's guts until they started crying, and then they'd hug them and say, there, you're all better now. You accepted the fact that Princess Diana the rabbit is dead. Well, we'd like to tell you that the real Princess Diana," and they'd show a picture of her, "is dead too. She got mutilated in a car wreck, and she's dead. Cry, cry, cry." And they'd actually dig their fingers into kids' shoulders, right in that muscle there, and make them cry. There, you're all better now. See, now you're all better now, and you've reached closure, and you accept the fact of death." And that's how they do it. Sick, 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 sick. But oh well, that's just the way it goes. Talk to you later. Bye.